Hey YouTubers, this is Kevin from Survivor Super Fun Time Show. We had episode 7 of Survivor 49. It was a big episode. This was the merge episode. We've cut out the mergatory entirely, which thank Christ. I was never a big fan of the mergatory. I didn't really get it. I didn't like the idea where you had to earn the merge. First of all, you make it to the merge, you make it to a certain number, then you've earned the merge. I never understood that. A lot of really exciting stuff. The change in the balance of power happened this episode. We have, again, a continuation of what I think is going to be a really awesome character for the new era. They're severely underrated in Yellow Sophie, which we'll talk about that too, and a lot of really other awesome stuff. So make sure you hit the subscribe button to see more Survivor content in the future and to listen to this channel right now and give some support. But getting into the episode, you have Kella coming back from Tribal Council. They had just booted Shannon out of this game. You got Juwan, you got Sage, and you got Steven. They're united together. They're like, listen, let's move forward and let's do this. We just created trust. Let's keep the trust going. And they decided once the merge happens and everyone's on the same beach, they're going to vote together. Now, as a viewer, you go like, is that really going to happen? Because that's two old Uli, Sage and Juwan. They were at the bottom of Uli, but Uli regardless. So the next day when the boats come and they say, hey, listen, the game's going to change. You're all going to be on the same beach. And they get there. Uli and Hina go to Kella Beach. And Kella does not seem happy about it. These three goofs are like, do we actually have to go down there and say what's up? And they finally do, thank God. And everyone's doing, kissy, kissy, huggy, huggy, and getting back together. You have Alex and Sophie reuniting for the first time in a long time. You have old Uli, and you have old Hina. And Hina's probably going, oh God, how's this going to go? Christina's sitting there, Sophie's sitting there, Steven, MC, they're like, oh my God, we're probably doomed. But we'll see later on in the episode if that's really true. And with everybody on the same beach, that's when the game gets real. That's where we get to see if old Kella is really going to be together, or Sophie and Alex going to link up again. There's a segment where they're sitting together and they're talking about strategy and updating. And they're like, well, they're feeling each other out, really is what it is. So, Sophie's basically saying, I feel close with like Savannah and Uli. And you, Alex, you feel close with Hina, and I get that. But how do we marry the two competing interests? And I think by the end of this, we as viewers are supposed to believe that you can. And by the end of the episode, obviously, they don't. Most importantly, I was very happy in this segment that Sophie did not tell Alex about her knowledge is power advantage. I was really worried about that. And thankfully, not the case. She's keeping that super locked in, all right? Because if you can keep knowledge is power completely hidden from everybody else, it can work. Because there's a point in this episode where Sophie knows where two advantages are in the game. Two idols. And she doesn't use it, which brilliant. I appreciated everyone getting together, and we seeing a lot of camera time with Savannah, who is my winner pick to win the game, and even after this episode, probably still in that neighborhood. She's just got an aggressive style to her. Well, it feels like a used car sales pitch to a lot of people and trying to make alliances and saying, like, I care. Like, she's going back there and she's trying to solidify alliances with Juwan and Sage, and she doesn't really have all that much interest in being allies with them other than being used as numbers. And Sage seems to understand that. Juwan, I don't know, maybe he was spurned, maybe he just likes Steven better. But regardless, she is trying to make her pitch there. And part of that is because she is told by Juwan and Sage that the previous Kella tribe, they voted Shannon out because Shannon tried to blow everything up. That Shannon was the one that told everyone about Rizzo's idol. So she was a bad Uli, and that Uli needed to get out of here. Savannah bought it. So did Rizzo. So did Nate. So that was really like step one of the penetration of Sage and Juwan into the Uli tribe before eventually ousting one of their own, which, spoiler alert for the episode, is Nate. And I'm not surprised Nate was gone, but the castaways sure were. And a lot of this really stems from the fact that at old Uli, I guess Sage felt as though that she wasn't treated kind of equally. She was treated like she was really dumb by people like Savannah, and Rizzo's playing really hard, so he's going along with Savannah. And that's kind of I get it. Sage right now is getting the edit of Carolyn Weiger from Survivor 44. It's almost like match for match. I mean, Carolyn, her whole season was basically like, I can't believe everybody thinks I'm so stupid and so incompetent. What is going on? And then Carolyn votes them out. And maybe that'll happen for Sage. I don't think so, but maybe. She is definitely rising as a star in this game. Everyone online is finding her to be really funny. They think that, she's got a lethal face card. She's beautiful, but she makes a lot of really funny faces while she's doing it. So I think that creates like a little layer to her as a player, as an entertainment piece. I'm not in love with Sage as much as I used to be with like Carolyn or someone like her, like Nora Salmon from Island of the Idols. I don't know what it is. I'm convinced the reason why I'm not as in love with Sage though is because she is directly in conflict with Savannah, and I'm a big Savannah fan. So maybe if they ever get on the same page again, I'll probably look more favorably towards Sage. I mean, I'm sure she's a great person, but in the game right now, I'm actively rooting against her after what just happened in the last Tribal Council. And for Savannah, I thought it was really interesting this episode because she really got framed in a way that made her look like she was super aggressive and a little bit cringy with some of her trying to make bonds. Now, that's not necessarily how I took it, but that is a way that someone could take it. Like, one of the biggest things that they framed that seemed out of context and seemed super old school was chickens. Is from a previous reward, actually they had chickens in the tribe, and now that everyone's merged together, the chickens are there. Sage is looking after chickens. She doesn't want to see them die. Savannah's like, seriously, bro, we need to give them names. We need to call them like Kentucky Fried Chicken. We need to call them Chicken Teriyaki. We need to call them General Tso's, bro. I'm serious. Fans at home, I saw some of the commentary online. It was like, whoa, what a psychopath. She's naming the chickens. Bro, in Australian Outback Season 2, they called the 3 chickens breakfast, lunch, and dinner, okay? I mean, come on. Like, this is a non-issue. That whole thing is just Savannah having fun with it. I'm sure everybody thought that was funny. But it's all about how they frame it in the TV show. And then, Savannah, you got to give it to her one thing. Whether you liked her or hated her this episode, you got to give it to her for picking up the machete and chopping the chicken's head off. She had no problem. She's like, listen, I want that damn chicken, and I'm going to pick up the machete to do it. Because previously in Survivor years, there were people who go like, oh, I really want that chicken, but I'm not going to have a hand in killing it. And Savannah's like, no. Give me the machete, bro. Put it in my hand. Maybe that added to people's beliefs that she's overly aggressive with some things, but that's okay. I think in Survivor, some of the best winners of all time are overly aggressive. Are you going to tell me that Parvati and Boston Rob are not considered to be an aggressive player? Sandra's not an aggressive player? So I think Savannah's on track, whether it's killing chickens or trying to form bonds or trying to steal advantages from MC. I think she's on track to be one of the more aggressive players in the entirety of the new era. Probably the most. Now, will it be a downfall or not? That's one question. But will she ever return to play the game because of it? That's another really good question. Since we're on the topic of old Uli lying to one another, Sage and Juan were like, yeah, Shannon blew it for Rizzo's idol and told everybody and da-da-da-da-da. That's not true. The actual person who revealed to everybody that Rizzo had an idol was Sage. Sage decided to try to get out ahead of everyone on the previous Kella when Shannon was forming all those bonds. Sage wanted a bargaining chip. So she's the one who spilled the beans, and that's the reason why MC knew about it in order to tell Rizzo, by the way, your idol was told to everyone by Sage. But what's interesting, online, MC commented after this episode 7, she said, I would like it to be known, when I was at the water well with Rizzo, I told him that it was Shannon that said it. I didn't say Sage. So for some reason, if you go on your Paramount Plus and you go to about 20 minutes, 33 seconds, at the water well, you hear her say, Sage told us about your idol. But MC is saying she said Shannon, and that means editors, for some reason, which they've done many times in the past and probably will in the future even more, they decided to trick the viewers into thinking that MC actually said Sage in that moment, but it was really Shannon. I don't really know why editors decided to kind of like boldly lie to us with an edit. So I do think if that was left in the episode, it would be a little more apparent that someone like Sage probably wasn't going to go home this episode, or that we as viewers would totally believe why Uli would not see a blindside coming of Nate, because Sage, they wouldn't know she was working against them since Shannon was the one who took all the bullets. So yeah, I didn't like the Survivor editors use this moment to lie to us. I thought that was pretty crazy. I know they've done it in the past. They call it a Frankenbite, and it completely formed a new narrative and a new story. I don't like that, Survivor. Fans, you were lied to. Will it be incredibly important? I don't know. But what I do know is the original story apparently wasn't good enough, and editors decided to make their own. So we have the immunity challenge. We go to that. Remember, these players are not formally merged. Jeff hits them with the drop your buffs. You are now merged. They get their beautiful black buffs. They're actually perfect. I love these buffs. And they get told, we don't have mergatory, but we're going to split you into 2 tribes, and you're going to compete against one another for the merge feast. Now, the only person who doesn't have to compete is Sage. Sage won the advantage from this key challenge they did earlier in the episode, which is not even worth talking about. They had to run the forest, get keys, and whoever unlocked the chest got an advantage. And the advantage is you didn't have to play. You got the merge feast automatically. And you advance to the final round where you're competing for individual immunity. Now, Sage automatically gets to do that. And after a pretty decent obstacle course, Yellow Tribe wins, and they compete against one another in immunity challenge in a classic like balance and hold a ball on a stick challenge. And it comes down to a tough one between Steven and Yellow Sophie. And Yellow Sophie is the first winner of this beautiful individual immunity necklace that looks like it has little shark teeth on it. Absolutely love it. I'm telling you, man, Sophie in the last couple episodes, they've completely blocked her out of the first 3 or 4 episodes. But now we're starting to see like Yellow Sophie has a booming personality, a very good personality, good strategic mind, and she's good at challenges. So I think we're going to see some awesome stuff from Sophie. Although I'm very afraid that she's going to get cut short. Like, I think it's very clear that Hina's a little afraid of her, that Uli is very afraid of her because they wanted to vote her out this episode. Unfortunately, she got the necklace, couldn't do it. But Sophie is showing she is a badass. I can't wait to see what happens with her. She's either going to go really far and get cut at like 5, or she's the next one out. And I'm not sure which way it's going to go, but I love Sophie with an E, and I'm very much hoping that they get to show a little bit more of her, even if she gets cut very soon, because she has been criminally undershown in this season. Jeff had a discussion with Sophie and Sophie. Now they're on the same beach. I thought that was kind of lame. But what was even more lame was that Jeff decided to have a conversation with everyone and said, we're casting for season 50 and there's slots still open. So if you want to play, you better work for those slots. And as a fan, dude, I was so annoyed by this because I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a castaway in season 49, how thrilling is it for me to hear actively from you? 2 episodes in a row, by the way. He did this episode and did the previous episode. How thrilling is it for me to hear that, well, guys, this season's good, but that one, that's the one you want to be on. Season 50 is what you want to be on. Not that you weren't going to work hard already, but, work hard to be on the next one, because who cares about this season, right? If I'm a 49 cast member, I'm pissed about it. I'm annoyed. Like, maybe you'll get the outcome you're looking for. Maybe it is motivational. Maybe you'll get castaways that will look at this and say, I need to play big. I need to do advantages. Maybe that's why MC plays her idol at the end of the episode. I don't know. But what I do know is I would be annoyed that you are actively degrading my season. I've never heard of Jeff Probst talking to the castaways about how cool next season's going to be while the current one is happening. Even if he's done it behind the scenes before, that's different. What matters is that he said it and they showed it on screen 2 episodes in a row. It seems like 49 is a marketing campaign for season 50. And that is what is crushing, because before this season started, I and many others said, you know what? I feel bad for these poor bastards in season 49 because CBS/Jeff/Survivor, whatever, they are going to treat it like a speed bump on the way to 50. And the fans are probably going to be even worse about it. And right now, fans aren't super into the season, although this episode definitely helped. Don't get me wrong. It definitely helped. But Jeff saying that, it told me maybe they're not super into it either. And that is crushing, because these people deserve more dignity and respect for what they're sacrificing in this game. And I know 2 people on 49 do make it to season 50, but it's not about them. It's about all of them. It's about all 18 of those players. So if I'm a castaway from 49, I'm pissed. I'm pretty annoyed. If I didn't make it to 50, I'd be throwing some cusses out there. But the problem is, everyone knows returner seasons are possible thanks to season 50. So a lot of players probably aren't going to go like, you know what, Jeff, that was whack as shit. But I don't mind saying it because I probably will never get to play the game. You can't take away my camera from me. So Jeff, that was pretty lame. And it was even more lame that you left it in the episode. Anyway, with that said, after the immunity challenge, everyone finds out, obviously, you cannot vote for Yellow Sophie. So number 1 target's out. Uli is thinking, who do we want to go for? And eventually they could pretty much settle on Steven. But one of the major deciding factors is MC, finally, now that she's lost an immunity challenge for the first time this whole game, she can finally look for her beware advantage she found ages ago on original Hina Beach. She goes to look for it, and Savannah little scurries and says, hey, what are you doing? And basically catches her trying to find this massive ring of keys. She actually dives to get the keys before MC gets the keys. She was willing to fight with MC, the beast, MC. Obviously, it didn't work out. It was a nice try by Savannah, and I appreciate her aggressive nature there. She's like a little pit bull. I love that about Savannah. MC got the keys. Savannah stalked her for a little bit, said like, hey, I'm going to hang around you now that I know you're about to get an advantage, which is very smart on Savannah's part as far as being able to make it uncomfortable and knowing what someone has. But the problem is it can strain a relationship if you're looking to build one. And I think Savannah knows that, and that's why she walked away eventually. It ended up affecting the rest of the episode because MC was the other person that was mentioned as being voted out by Uli. Ultimately, though, you go to tribal council and lots of conversations happen. Everyone on both sides is feeling very confident about their station in this game. And the reason is Jawan and Sage are about to flip the script entirely on old Uli. And unfortunately, Nate Dogg is the one who catches the majority of the votes and is voted out of the game. That is blindsiding Rizzo, that's blindsiding Savannah, and that's blindsiding Blue Sophie. So Alex didn't do a solid for his dog of the old Kella days, so unfortunately that relationship is not as close as maybe Sophie would have liked, and Savannah and Rizzo take their first real L of the game. Now the thing is, Rizzo, despite all his posturing about his idol being played that night, he didn't do it. So he still has an idol, and Sophie still has the knowledge is power advantage. So they have the two known advantages in the game, considering MC played her idol, for no reason, at Tribal Council. So there's a lot of potential for them to do a lot of damage, because I think these three together, Savannah, Sophie, and Rizzo, they are going to have an epic comeback. It's going to be Operation Italy over and over and over again at this point on in the game. And I can't wait, because Savannah is certainly not going to quit. Rizzo has that foolish boy charm. He's not going to quit. And Sophie is not going to quit either. She'll abandon them if she has to. But right now, she knows she's on the bottom, so she kind of has all interest in sticking with them for the moment. Alex is a player. Even though there is strain from that relationship in that last vote, Alex is a player. And if he can find a reason to go with Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie, he's going to do it. So I think he's a gateway to get in. Also, quick commentary on MC playing her idol. I know a lot of people are going to look at it and say, MC, you blew it. You wasted your idol. It's kind of a big win on her part to play the idol right away. Once Savannah saw it, everyone knew she had the idol regardless. So it was a public idol at that point. And MC is not someone who needs another reason for people to vote her out. She's already going to be the strongest competitor in there, most likely in any given challenge. So why give another reason to get voted out, right? So go up there, hand it to Jeff, it's done. You have your vote restored. That's the most important thing at this point anyway. And the idol is gone. It's better to play it now, live today, and then fight tomorrow for immunity, because she's going to have like a 50% chance probably every single time, considering how boss she is. So I happen to think it was a good play by MC in order to get rid of that idol and just basically move on and give other people a reason to take the target from her. Let Sophie, Yellow Sophie, be the big physical target after winning that necklace. I don't have an idol. I got nothing. Yellow Sophie. But yeah, really exciting episode, because now everyone's going to be reeling after that tribal council. Hina's going to feel real good about themselves. Old Uli, for the most part, is going to feel real bad about themselves. But they have all the advantages, so it's going to be really fun in that regard. Sage, will she keep it up? I'm sure Savannah's going to try to rekindle what she felt was a good relationship back at Old Uli. Will that happen? Can't wait to see. But we do know that Juwan and Sage were getting dogged pretty heavily for their station in the game. I was dogging them. I was like, dude, they're gonna get voted out. Juwan is a whatever. Sage maybe she'll stick around, but Juwan is a whatever. And maybe that will be true. Maybe next episode he will be one of the ones voted out. But you got to give credit, because he decided, along with Sage, they were not okay with being on the bottom of Uli. So big ups to Juwan and Sage for flipping the script. Now you have to figure out whether or not you're going to suffer the wrath of Savannah, and I cannot wait to find out. But that's going to do it for the episode. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Hopefully you check out some of my other video content. We're going to have more interviews coming up in the near future. It's going to be really, really exciting with some of these castaways. Otherwise, hope you have an amazing day, everyone. Take care. Goodbye.